4 5-shot groups, and take a look at these. The recommendation is that you need to cycle 300, 400, 500 pellets through this barrel first. I haven't done that. I've shot less than a 10 of pellets to this thing, and I mean, it's at 30 yards. I get it, it's at 30 yards, but I haven't shot 4 or 5 shot groups at 30 yards this good ever out of any rifle. So this thing is, it's crazy accurate. I spent the last couple days getting another rifle, and I've had some questions about it. I've sent correspondence back to Pellet Shop and Saber Tactical and Donnie Fell, and they've responded back and answered some of my questions. So I'm just going to tell you what I've learned about the rifle in the last 2 days. Well, let me just start with, okay, a moderator. So if you want to put a moderator on a gun, here's how you do it, okay? This adapter here, most guns I think uses 1/2x20 UNF. This is not a 1/2x20, it's a bigger barrel, okay? So this is a M18 by 1, okay? This screws off the exposure threads, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, the part you need, if you're gonna put a quick disconnect on it, is the Donnie Fell M18 by 1, and it's part number M76, okay? So that little part, so this is what comes off the barrel. And again, if you got the quick disconnect for your Donnie Fell moderators, that's the part you want to put on the barrel. The threads are the same, again, M18 by 1, okay? So then I come over here and I screw this on. Now this M18 by 1 does not have the little Allen pin probe, so I take a pair of covered pliers and just put that on snug, okay? Now that I've got this on there, I can put any moderator I want to put on it, right? So we all know about the quick disconnects. So this is the, the Rowan. This is what I shot with yesterday. And you also got the Yokozuna, which looks really cool on the gun, okay? So that's the, that's how you put a moderator on it. Okay, and then next, I want to talk about the plenum and the air tank. Okay, so it has a 600cc air tank we talked about on Tuesday. That is broken up into 2 parts. Okay, so this right here is your air tank. You got a split right here, and it's 350cc front tank. Back here is your rear tank. Okay, this is 250cc. It gives you 600cc total air capacity. It has a bleed valve. It's very easy to use, and the wrench that works on the bleed valve, okay, this is a bleed valve. If you want to degas the gun, you need a T25 wrench. It simply goes in here like so. That's it. That's how you bleed the gun, with a T25 wrench, with that Allen wrench right there. Okay. I noticed yesterday the cocking mechanism is very smooth on this rifle. It's got a longer throw, which makes it cocking it extremely easy. Okay, so there's no mag in this. Okay, pulls back 1 finger easily. Okay, it's on fire, so you can decock it like that. This is really smooth on this cocking lever. Okay. And while we're down here, let's talk about the safety. Okay, I like the safety on this rifle. Okay, so this is it's on fire because you can see the red here. Okay, if I push it in, it's on safe. And if you look over here on this side, it's got white. Okay, so white is safe, red is fire. It's got a very good safety on it. The mags, I know PJ put out a really good video earlier this week on loading the mags, I'll do a very abbreviated version of that. So on the mags, you've got this clip right here. Just going to rotate that to where this lid comes off. Okay, like any other bag, you spin this around until it stops. Okay, and you put the first one in, you catch it so it doesn't fall through, and then it, the spring catches it, and then you would fill it up like so. Okay, once you get it filled up, simply put that back on. Boom, that little indent there will click in, and then once it's good and snug, you just turn that on. Okay, boom to go. All right, let me show you on loading the mags. I'm going to take all these pellets out and make it safe. Okay, so I've got an empty mag. Okay, so to load the clips or the magazines, okay, obviously the clear side facing you, and it's loaded on the left-hand side. Okay, pull this back. Okay, now you can see this right here is the pin. Okay, so when you put this mag in, you want to make sure that this pin right here is pulled all the way back. So it's just, it's kind of loose right there, but if you pull it back, okay, it's clear to go. Okay, and to put the mag in, you put this flat side down, it's got the slot in it, lay it on there flat, and push it in. Okay, boom, and then you cock it. Okay, now it's not going to cock without with the mag being empty, which is nice. Okay, but that's how you load the mags. And again, when you're taking the mag out, pull this lever back so that pin doesn't protrude in there. Okay. All right, gun's on safe. Okay, it has a match adjustable trigger on it, which is really nice. The trigger's fine for me. Okay, I'm not touching this trigger, but if you want to adjust it, less pressure, more pressure, you can do that again with a match trigger on it. But I have no desire at all to mess with that trigger. That trigger out of this box is just fine. Coming on down to the gun, this is really neat. I haven't seen this before on our air rifle, but it's a really clever idea. The fill probe, which you probably don't think much about. It's horizontal with the gun. Okay, not angled down. So if this was angled down like a lot of guns, and you've got this whip here, okay, that you got to prop the gun up, okay, to put the fill probe on. Not this gun. You can set this gun down just like this and fill this up. So I really like the clever horizontal fill probe on this. It's in a really good position, and I haven't seen it on another air rifle before. You can adjust. Obviously, the cheek riser here, it's got 2.5 inch, 2.5 millimeter screws. I've already loosened them. Okay, so here's the adjustments. So you can adjust it up, down, back, and anywhere in between. So that's the cheek riser. On the buttstock, you've got 2 screws on each side. Okay, so the ones on the very end, okay, allow you to adjust this. Here's your range of motion for that buttstock up and down. Okay, when you get it where you want it. Okay, you just tighten those back up. Okay, and these other 2 screws, okay, this allows you to pull this piece out. That's about as far as you can go with it. I mean, you can take it all the way out. Okay, it's being held in there by 3 bolts, so that's about the most you can do it, and then you can adjust it wherever you want it. And again, tighten those up. You don't need a tool to do that. I think it was PJ I asked, what is this thing? Okay, again, I want to know everything about the gun. Okay, it's got this screw-on cap. It looks like an air valve right here, and it is an air valve. Okay, so the PRS model, which is coming out soon, will use this to be able to add a second tank. And I imagine at some point you probably could add another tank to the bench version. I'm not sure, but this is going to be an air valve for future tanks, mainly designed for the PRS model. All right, folks, I'll flip the gun around. I want to show you the gauges real quick, okay? Okay, this gauge right here, this is Reg 2, okay? This one you can adjust, okay? And I'm going to show you in just a minute how to adjust it, but this is the Reg 2 gauge right here. I think it comes out of the factory around 2,000, 2,100, okay? So again, that's your second reg, which is adjustable, okay? This gauge right here, okay, this is Reg 1, okay? This one comes out of the factory, mine's at 3,000, okay? I would recommend, and Saber and Donnie recommend, don't mess with Reg 1. Okay, it comes out of the factory at 3,000 psi, and to change Reg 1, you got to get inside the gun. I'm not doing that, and I don't think just don't mess with Reg 1. So leave it at 3,000. Okay. So Reg 1, Reg 2, and then this gauge right here, this is your tank pressure. Okay. 310 bar, 4,500 psi is your tank gauge. So that's the 3 gauges on here. All right. So real quick, I want to talk about tuning. PJ from Saber Tactical put out a really good video this week on tuning it. I'm certainly not going to supersede that, but I'll just give you a very, very abbreviated the 3 tools you got to tune the rifle. And I highly recommend you go watch the Saber Tactical the PJ video on how to tune this thing. Okay, so the first way is the Reg. Okay, Reg 2, and Reg 2. Flip this around. Reg 2 is right here. Okay, it takes a 5mm Allen to turn this. Okay, you can turn, as with all air rifles that I know of, you can adjust the Reg up without degassing it. Okay, so to adjust the Reg up, you want to loosen the bolt or go counterclockwise. That will, and slow turns are big movements on this. So you know, 1/8 of a turn or fraction of a turn, fire the rifle, see the impact on it. If you want to decrease the Reg 2, okay, probably the safest way is to degas the gun. I just showed you where to do that. Right there, degas the gun and adjust the Reg down. I'll leave it at that. So PJ mentioned there is another way to turn the Reg down without degassing it, but you got to be very, very careful. And if you overdo it, you could void the warranty and mess the gun up. So I'm just going to, my recommendation, if you want to turn the Reg 2 down, degas the gun. Okay, so that's one method, okay, to tune the rifle. And then the other method is a hammer spring, and the hammer spring is really nice on this. Okay, so for example, you don't need a tool, you don't need a wrench to adjust a hammer spring. You need your thumb, right? So right here, okay, it's got this thumb slot. Okay, if you can see that, and if I turn this direction, which I would call up, okay, it moves this dial right here. Okay, so watch this closely. I'm sorry, I'm turning it down. Okay, it decreases it. So it's got a middle hash mark. It's got a minus and a positive. When I turn the wheel down or away from me, as if I'm right-handed, okay, it decreases the hammer. Basically, it's the spring. It compresses or decompresses the spring. A more compressed springs will give you a faster valve release, more speed, hits harder, but you might not want that. When you're tuning it, you might want to back it off a little. The gun out of the factory came halfway for me. I was shooting, I think, 942 average on every shot, standard deviation of maybe a little over 1. So, and it shot extremely well at 942. Pellets, it shot pellets extremely well at 942. So I'm not going to mess with the hammer, but if you wanted to adjust it up or down a little bit, here's how you do it. And then the last way when you're doing a tuning, the third way is called the transfer port. Okay, so on the transfer port, basically it's like a faucet. Okay, it just restricts the air, and my rifle came with it on max. Okay, so what you got to do is right here. Okay, you got a little knob. Okay, so you unscrew it by hand, no tool needed. Okay, and when you do that, okay, you see this valve right here. So mine is on max, the way it comes from the factory. But if I want it, say I've got it tuned really good, and I'm shooting, I don't know, 950. I want to back it down just a little bit to 945-ish. Okay, I could quickly just turn this valve a little bit, okay, slightly, and test it, and I could get that valve locked in where it's shooting exactly 940 or 870, whatever the hell you want. You can do it really quickly with this. Okay, so this will be your third way to tune the rifle. Again, I'm gonna put mine back on max. Once you get it set, then you just tighten this back up to where it doesn't move. Okay. Again, I highly recommend you watch PJ's video on how to tune it. He goes into a lot more detail than I just did. The other thing I just wanted to mention is this rifle in the near future will come with swappable barrels. Okay, so right now it's shipping in 30 cal. I think that's all that's available right now. But it'll come in 177, 22 cal, 25 cal, 30 cal, and 357 cal. And you can get those barrels lined for slug. No, let me back up, not line. Okay, you can't buy a liner for this. This is a solid barrel. You can get the barrel in, with a twist rate for pellets, or you can get it with a faster twist rate for slugs. So that's coming in the near future, and these are swappable. Not going to go into that, but the gun will allow you to swap barrels at. Okay, that's an overview of the Karma Red Panda that came out this week. Very excited about it. Again, it shoots great right out of the box. This is part one. I've got at least two more parts I'm going to do on this rifle. Part two will be range footage. So I'm going to get this gun next week to the 100-yard range and see how it does, with certain pellets, and see how it does at certain speeds, and how accurate is it at 100 yards. I can't wait to see that. So that'll be part two, and I'll do a part three video. You know me, I like to do a little power test. This thing's got a lot of power, so we'll tune this thing up and demonstrate what kind of power this rifle will do. Appreciate everybody watching. Please like and subscribe. Thanks, folks.